Man, oh man, I don't even know where to start with this, man. Volume 3, 4, and 5 now, and the anime as well. All done, pretty much within 24 hours of the last fucking video I uploaded. But, anyways, yeah. So, I will say spoilers will definitely be throughout the whole video just because I read a lot. So, and I will pretty much be talking about everything because obviously I'm gonna be talking about my thoughts and just my feelings throughout each volume. At least for the most part, I'm gonna pinpoint what each kind of like the key points that I found in the series and just kind of what they were, and yeah, pretty much that's it. So definitely, if you have something to do in your background, there's no visuals aside from just the cover arts that are gonna be flashing on the screen and stuff, and occasional illustration I might get put in here, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, like, subscribe, appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think, your thoughts if you've read the series, and that's pretty much about it. So anyways, let's get on with the video. So volume 3, I read this pretty much so today's Monday when I'm recording this. I read this yesterday. I started it, I guess, on Saturday, during like work, and I got around to it. But yesterday I finished it, and I finished volume 4 and 5, like I said. But yeah, volume 3 was pretty great. I think coming from the hype of volume 2 and everything, I was just so freaking stoked to get into volume 3, and volume 3 was pretty solid because it's the volume where I guess where they both, I mean, it's a volume where Yuta finally realizes he's has feelings for for Saki, for Ayase. He realizes that, and towards the end of the volume, she gosh, she's falling for him so hard and everything, and she realizes that she can't keep these feelings growing and growing because it's gonna ruin their family relationship, their dynamic that they have coming from their background and stuff. So what she does, she ends up cutting her hair, and she ends up, all right, sorry about that, I had to sneeze. Anyways, like I was saying, towards the end of the volume, it's the beginning of what I believe to be the painful volume, which is gonna be volume 4. But towards the end of volume 3, she ends up realizing her, how strong her feelings are growing for for Yuta, and because of their family dynamic, and she doesn't want to ruin anything of that, she decides to go through a whole change the lifestyle and everything. She starts calling Yuta big brother and stuff, and she ends up cutting her hair in hopes that maybe this will put a little bit of distance between them, and maybe the feelings that she has that are growing will kind of settle down and stuff. But and that's pretty much what goes, all that is what goes through volume 4 as well. But anyways, like I said, Yuta at the pool, he realizes his feelings after seeing her, and he grows attracted to her, and it's just it's been growing subtly throughout volume 1, 2, and 3. A lot of volume 3 was kind of just that, a lot of little subtle things of attraction and everything. I say constantly having at the end of volume 2 we find out that she feels jealous, and all these, constantly with Yuta constantly going out with this older coworker, she feels, attracted. She feels, all that. I mean, another reason she cut her hair was pretty much because Shiori, she has long hair, and everything. He's just hoping that she's doing all this, and just like I said, she's trying to cut the distance away from them. But that was pretty much volume 3. Just a little bit of stuff growing throughout their feelings and their thoughts towards one another, but kind of, I mean, they're in their own little perspective. Another thing that happens is volume 1 through 3 is main character Yuta's POV, and then at the end the epilogue is Saki's diary. But because of the the distance that she wants to put herself, she, at the end of volume 3, during her diary entry, she goes back and realizes that everything she's written down is just literally all about her and her feelings towards Yuta growing into, affection and attractiveness. And because she wants to put that distance away, she I believe she just throws the key away, or she locks it away. And the anime portrayed her a little bit different. I don't remember. I don't know why I can't remember, but I feel like in the novel she didn't, throw it away in the ocean. That might have just been an anime only, but man, I suck at this. Anyway, she does that, and then heading on towards that was pretty much, yeah, volume 3. So now starting with volume 4, the I guess the structure of the novels does change a little bit, since at the end of volume 3 we learn, Saki put her diary away because she doesn't want, I forgot the way she said, but she doesn't want to put that. She wants to kind of, because she wants her mom to be happy and their family dynamic to, be different, or actually be as a family, not this kind of romance that she's feeling, this attractiveness. She doesn't want that to interfere. So the writing changes, the writing format changes. So now we have Yuta's POV and then Ayasa's POV, from the same day and stuff, which, surprisingly, I found it pretty interesting because another book, an introvert's hiccups, which I recommend too, has the same thing, except theirs isn't exactly the same, but it's pretty much the same because it has a main character and then it has like a little interlude with the female main characters, her thoughts and stuff of, what happened that day pretty much. But volume 4 was pretty much I guess the hardest. It was the hardest volume to read and kind of the happiest towards the end, but it's still the hardest because, as we established last, volume 3, she at the end of volume 3, she she cut her hair, does all this, lifestyle change because she wants to distance herself. She wants to put those feelings that she has that are constantly growing for Yuta, she wants to put them away because she doesn't want their family dynamic to be ruined now that, her mom has found happiness with Yuta's dad and stuff. And that, it sucks because, throughout the whole volume, she stops calling him Asamura, which, by calling him, brother, big brother, she's trying to put that, that line between them so, things don't get crossed. But it seems that everything that Yuta does, he's constantly, thinking about her and, also thinking about her mom and all those little things. It's not able to help their case at all. She just keeps falling for him more and more. And then I believe, yeah, volume 3 did introduce another character, for another girl from Yuta's preparatory, and she does become a big part in volume 4, as in she is the one that pretty much gives Yuta that final push to face his feelings, because he, after realizing in volume 3 that he likes her, he also wants to know if it's really that or if it's just kind of this siblings thing. And this character pretty much tells him, feelings are human emotions, they're gonna be selfish, they're gonna be this and that. And dude, that was, oh my god, that was so good. Dude, that gave the final push, and oh my god, it makes him go home, and then they're eating, and then he's like, you know what, this is it, bro. This is fucking put everything on Black 17 right now, his moment. And he talks to Ayase, tells her, I have feelings for you, I like you. And then he pretty much, she doesn't believe him, but he's like, we've never kind of told lies to each other, we kind of are honest about things. And she understands that, and then she doesn't know what to feel. And then she after, I think, she goes to her room, locks herself up, she comes back out, and then she accepts his feelings pretty much. I guess I did kind of skip over it, but I guess the reason was all this kind of did happen too, because when Saki, she ended up going to a college, open campus and stuff, she met this professor, and professor pretty much kind of figured her out that she has feelings for someone that she shouldn't have feelings, but that's only because it's not permitted by laws. Even I mean, ethically, it shouldn't. But I mean, they're not like I guess they're technically not doing anything wrong, which it's cool. And this kind of pushes Saki to kind of a new perspective. The professor ends up telling her, it's like maybe try to make meet other guys, be around other guys, maybe if you find someone that you're also someone else that you're attracted to and all that, you might end up and if you're feeling for the guy that you like currently, if they're still the same, then maybe you're just meant to be. And that kind of gives her the push. And then while this is throughout this a little bit later in the day or the next day, there's a little study session and stuff, and then she ends up going to the convenience store with another classmate, and Yuta's out here on a little lunch break with the girl from his preparatory school, and he ends up seeing her, and he just gets this feeling of like jealousness, but he doesn't know it. He just wasn't happy to see her with another guy, and this pretty much it has they have that's kind of what ended up having him and his friend that he makes from the preparatory. That's how they figure out, and that's kind of what she told him. You gotta move forward with this. You're not gonna let it. You shouldn't let it simmer and hold it down for you, or keep it like held down for you. So that's pretty much what pushed him to move forward. When they're talking about their feelings and all that, he says, she says, is it the type of feelings where, you don't want to see you with other guys and stuff? And he says, yeah, I don't like that. And, pretty much just the feelings. I mean, it was the way, oh man, it was just so great. the way Volume 4 closed up was, just him confessing, winning the gamble. He won the gamble, and she accepted his feelings, except, they weren't sure if it was sibling like a romance, but nonetheless she said I'll accept it, and I'll carry this burden, this weight with you. So that was pretty much the end of Volume 4. Pretty good. So then Volume 5, coming from Volume 4, I'd like to say that this volume was not really a 180, because at the end of Volume 4, obviously we learned that they accepted each other's feelings and stuff, but at least throughout the story of Volume 5, like I said, the formatting is Yuta's POV, and then we get Saki's POV. Volume 5 definitely focuses a lot more on their growth as a thing, pretty much, quote. So they're trying to learn each other, trying to get to know each other, trying to go out a lot more, trying to be with each other. I mean, it doesn't take long for Saki to just come to a complete honest matter of fact, she's in love with him, which was great. I kicked my feet up, I'm not gonna lie. And I guess everything she's doing, she just can't get him out of her mind. Everything she's doing is for him, towards him. Everything she feels for him, it's like it's just romantic. It's romantic feelings at this point. There's a moment when they're walking together to work, and they see a couple kissing, and from Yuta's POV, he doesn't say much. He just he gets shocked because he's obviously more now that they're like a thing, trying to figure out what they are. He's more self-aware now of like everything around, couples and all that, and that's pretty much his POV on that side. But when you read Saki's POV, they say she sees the same thing, and then in her mind she pictures them kind of doing that, and I think that's the part where she says she's falling in love with him. So I mean, it doesn't take long from like what was Volume 4 to now. Halloween's coming up. This volume takes place in October, so Halloween's coming up. I guess they had the no, they didn't. Was this a birthday party? Oh shoot, I forgot already. Yeah, oh yeah, they did have the birthday party, because they're trying to figure out what to wear and stuff. Yeah, this is his volume. Yeah, Volume 5. They were trying to, he was trying to ask around how to look stylish and all that, and just kind of to impress Saki and all that, because they were going out to their friend's birthday party, and they used that as an excuse to kind of go out on a little date, but it didn't really feel like a date. Towards the end of that day, when they're going home, he actually asks for help, searching for clothes and stuff, and then they go out, and then she's picking out clothes for him, and she pretty much says, I will pick something that I like, and which was pretty much what Yuta was looking for, something that she would like. So that's pretty early on. Midway, I think is the moment that really sets things in motion. Saki's having the conversation with her stepdad, Yuta's dad, and it just comes down to a conversation of if even if you guys were delinquents and broke the rules, I wouldn't disown you, or I wouldn't disown you or Yuta, either of you, I wouldn't disown you guys. And that was pretty much the trigger that set everything in motion in Saki's head, pretty much from what I got, because when he said, if you break the rules, I guess technically dating your step sibling, even if you're not related, is against the rules. So that's pretty much lets her go kind of on the attack, pretty much, even though she is still pretty, kind of shy and reserved about, doing a lot of things and feelings. They end up, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what happens after that. Then after that, they go to work, and when they're coming home, it's already it's getting close to Halloween, so there's lots of crowds and all that. And she's been wanting to hold his hand and stuff, seeing as they're walking together, it's getting cold. And then they do technically hold hands because there's a crowd of people, and just so they don't get lost and all that, Yuta holds out his hand, she grabs it, and then oh my god, dude, oh dude, I don't even know where to begin with this part, dude. Oh man, this last sequence was so great. Because they're coming, like I said, they're coming from home from work. It's Halloween. There's a lot of people in the crowd. They're getting bumped around. So he holds out his hand for Saki to grab. She grabs, and they're holding it. And as they're getting close to home, they kind of let go. But he looks at the shadows, and he wishes that they could just keep holding their hands and all that. So they get home. They realize, mom's not here. Dad's not here. Dad went to mom to work to celebrate Halloween, or just a little night out and stuff. And then the two of them are just eating, talking. They're kind of finally getting rid of this kind of sibling relationship, as it was as I guess they stated. It's like in secrecy we'll have this thing, see what what we feel for each other, but in front of everyone else, we're still siblings to everyone else, but between us we have this thing going on. But Saki gives Yuta a little Halloween gift and stuff. It's a little charm. She talks about her, her childhood and stuff, and she's hoping to, remake. She's had these, sad memories in the past, these lonely events, holidays, and all that. But now that she has him, she wants to remake a lot of memories now that she has him and all that. And one thing leads to another. They're eating, they're having dinner and all that. She gives him this little little candlelight that like that she talked about her past and what it kind of symbolized for her. And as they're staring there, it's kind of dark and all that. It's Halloween. I guess moments before that, other characters, they just tease them and all that. It's like, oh, it's Halloween, gonna play the curse on you, this and that. And it's like I don't even know where to. Oh man, so that happens. And like I said, they're eating, they're doing that, and one thing leads to another. And I guess just in the moment you don't know what to do and stuff, or you just have these spur of the moment actions, and Yuta gets that, so he leans him forward, caresses her face, and he comes in for the kiss, and they kiss. And then we get Saki's POV, and she's pretty much just saying how she feels, how she wants him and stuff. And then as she realizes that he's gonna go for a kiss, she acts like she kind of had an idea this was gonna happen, and she willingly let him kiss her, but she was so happy and all that. And it's, oh man, I don't even know how to explain it, dude. It's just such a, dude, I'm so It's just, man, oh man, dude, it's been a great read. If I gotta really say anything, it's been an honestly really good read of everything throughout here, through and through. It's been a great read, and honestly, I'm so happy. Like this coming of age, kind of romance and a little bit of this and that. It's been great. It's been great. I've been enjoying it, dude. I haven't had this, kind of big high on, wanting to keep reading and reading until I got into the series, which if on my little book reading tracker, I'm on a 9 day streak nonstop reading for 9 days. That's crazy, bro. I haven't had that in a year, 2 years since I started, reading. The last book that made me read like that much was probably Ari Ferrera, back when I was, reading that. But this series has made me do that, and I've gone ahead and I've gone all the official volumes, all the fan translations. Jam Press has this, so it's gonna be years before we get to where the Japanese novels are at, which is volume 17, I believe. It's not that far away. No, we are 10 volumes, and then Jam Press releases like 2 volumes a year. So you're gonna imagine that's five. It's gonna be 2030 when we're finally getting to volume 6. I'm not waiting that, dude. So shout out to the people that are doing the fan translations. You guys are much appreciated. You guys are, oh my god, bro. If I had bajillions of dollars, I would definitely donate to you guys. At that point, I'd make my own licensing company, and I would definitely license at least digitally, because dude, we need that so much in the community, so much, just people, or just translators and all that. We need this, man. We need this, because, oh man. But anyways, that's pretty much my thoughts for these 3 volumes. And I guess just some quick and final thoughts, because I also did watch the anime as I was reading. I kind of wanted to finish reading the first 4 volumes that were adapted. The first 4 volumes were adapted, so I wanted to finish those first before, I was slowly watching, one episode, almost day by day as I was reading. So I didn't catch up too quick. But yeah, dude, holy shit, I gotta say, volume 3's adaptation was pretty fucking good. That, like I said, the pool scene, all that, it was, dude. I don't know if it's the direction, the director, or the whoever did the cinematography, all the angles. I mean, throughout the whole series has been, I found it really nice. Just the angles, the quiet stills, just, and moments of silence and all that with just the characters, eating, all that. It feels so good. It just fits so good. It fits so good. And volume episode 9, which was the pool scene, the confession, not the confession, the Yuta realizing his feelings, it was just so beautiful. The whole sequence with Ayase, locking her feelings away, throwing the key away, changing her lifestyle, it's so beautiful, and it makes you almost shed a tear at the end when, she's relaying all these feelings for him, and then she comes out of nowhere, cuts her hair, and just calls him big brother. It's like, it's like gut punch, bro. Oh man, dude, I felt like crying right there, dude. But then, and then, the rest of us are okay. We definitely, obviously, a 4-volume adaptation to 12 episodes is gonna cut out quite a lot of material, and we did get that. But at the end of at the end of the series, episode 12, volume 4, the whole confession, I feel like, I don't know why, but it feels like I really like the way the anime did it. With Yuta confessing and all that, Sagi's unable to take it, or she just doesn't know what to feel, so she runs away and she locks herself in the room, crying. And then Yuta goes to look for her, knocks for her, waits for her. She doesn't answer. As he's about to leave, I think he knocks one more time, and she comes out, she pulls him into his room, and she's like, you know what, I accept it. I accept your feelings. And she at that moment, I guess, everything's just so overwhelming, so much for her. She starts crying, and they hug and all that. It was so beautiful. But dude, this is another series that really suffers from not having a season 2, because like I said, dude, with hindsight, now that I read volume 5, dude, season 2 would be a banger. At least, bro, at least a season 2. It would cover another, what, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe, if No, probably just 3 volumes would be covered if we got a season 2 and another 12 episodes. It would be so great. I mean, it's been 2 years since it released. It released summer 2024. We are in summer 2026. So, dude, we freaking need it so bad. It's another in a way it's another series like Angel Next Door Exposing Brian, because first 4 volumes are the build up and everything, and then volume 5 in the head is pretty much the payoff, which is pretty much what Angel Next Door has going on. The 4 first volumes. I also read those and then rewatched the anime after I finished rereading those, and there was also stuff but volume 5 and forward is pretty much the relationship part. And this Days with My Stepsister, it would also really be nice if we could get a season 2. Oh man, dude, I fucking need that season 2 so bad. But that's pretty much my thoughts. And anyway, I know this was a super long video, so if anyone actually did stay to the end to watch, I appreciate it so freaking much, so much. I know I just ramble. I don't know where my thoughts were. That's probably because I don't do this without a script. I don't do this with the script, is what I mean. This is all just off the top of my head, my honest feelings, how I'm feeling, which kind of sucks, I guess, because I'm not able to completely actually kind of talk about this pretty straightforward. I'm jumping from here to there, so I might definitely try to work on making a script or just something, so just so I'm not super jumpy from here to there with all the thoughts, because I say one thing and then I jump to another thing and then I completely skip over things, and then this completely is unstructured, so it's unorganized, and I can understand if it sounds bad at times, but if you're making it to the end, I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts and everything, and I'll definitely catch you guys on another video. See you.